You are not struggling with discipline, you're working with a broken system. We're gonna go over in this video the simple reasons why you're stuck, feeling diseased and trapped, and the simple ways to liberate yourself. Feel so youthful that you have boundless energy, that you're able to not just walk with ease and no pain, but run and jump and eat good foods. Be disciplined, meaning you're gonna do what you would like to do. You're not lacking this word discipline. It's just that you're working with a broken system. What do I mean by that? Well, we're set up for failure. Most of us in the United States are eating huge amounts of refined food and a lot of animal product. And now we're getting the huge kick of media and influencers with ketogenic kick, which is very similar to Atkins. So we're struggling. We're not able to process this food-like substance that we're eating. Going through grocery stores, and most of the animal products we're getting are like factory farmed. And let's not get to the overwhelm part here. Let's stay focused on how to really change your identity, change your life to actually want to be moved to exercise, be free, and enjoy this happiness, right? This exploding joy that's bubbling up, that's part of being a human being. Euphoria. To be euphoric is a natural way of being. How do we get there? What's the first step? Well, thinking that it's as simple as drinking water and going for a walk every morning is one of the broken systems that we have. I'm not saying it's not great advice. It's phenomenal. It's one of the first things I tell my clients. But the first thing I tell my client is that you must bet on yourself, right? B-E-T, beliefs, emotions, thought. That you gotta bet on yourself, that you have to put some conditions on yourself that you're actually gonna commit. One great way is signing up, right? They sign up, they made that commitment. They make a pledge. I don't have them stop there. Tell them to tell other people they're working with OG Fit. Tell them that they have a trainer. Announce what they're doing. Make that commitment. Yet it's really about our beliefs, emotions, thoughts, and that's starting to change our thought and our emotion because we put our money where our mouth is. So we start making the greatest investment we possibly could, the asset of ourselves. We invest in ourselves, and then we change our thoughts, we start to change our emotions, and if we really start to change our beliefs, that's when things start happening. Now, so many of us are caught in this trap of identity where we see ourselves and believe that there's no way out. Either we're genetically dispositioned to be heavy, or you think exercise hard, or you think eating right is hard and everything that's good for you tastes bad. Listen, no one's genetically designed to be overweight. You may have a better opportunity of gaining weight, which means you could gain more muscle also, but it takes more calories not used, or just excess calories, whether they're used or not, excess calories. If we're not used, if we're not like training, they're going to turn to fat. If we're training, they're going to turn to muscle. Some people don't want to be overweight even with muscle. So you're not genetically designed to be overweight. It's just about not having any awareness as to how many calories you're eating. And another big one, I mean, there's so many big ones, like not understanding the difference of an empty stomach and actual hunger. I've made one video, I could send it to you if you write in the comments below, and in my private access for my students that has changed their life. Just comment empty stomach video and maybe I'll make it public or just send it to you. Yet that changed the game for them to understand the difference of an empty stomach and being hungry, because most of us are never experienced hunger or emotionally eating. And right when I say that, for those who know what I'm talking about, it's hitting a a place in your heart, probably, because we're just constantly emotional eating. But just talking about it, it's like, how do we stop? It's not just talking about it. There's a lot of processes that may work for you, that may not work for you, whether it's processing it through your body with movement, or processing it with your mind with cognitive behavioral therapy. I tend to use way more than one on my students because I've realized over the years, it's not a cookie. We're not cookies. We're not cookie cutter. So it's really amazing to be able to take it to the next level and see what works. That's what's the point of beginning. It's kind of like when we start, a mentor told me when we start to put ads out, we're not paying for the results, we're paying for the metrics. We're paying for our first ads, our first few $1,000s with ads, are paying for a discovery to see what is working and what is not working. Just because something works for thousands of people doesn't mean it's going to work for you. So the drinking water and going for a walk, that may be putting fuel on the fire because you're just in more pain. It stimulates your appetite, you're emotionally eating, you don't understand what really to eat yet. You don't understand how to process your emotions, which is gigantic. When we start changing the way our beliefs are, I have 8 core beliefs that I have my students read to think about how different those are and how different theirs are, and how if these 8 core beliefs were part of their belief system, how easy and effortless exercise would be. And I asked them, what do you think if your beliefs were anywhere near those 8 core beliefs, would you really change your behavior? Of course, because our beliefs build our behavior. If you don't believe a chair will hold your weight, you're not going to sit in it. If you don't believe the video is going to record, you're not going to record it. If you don't believe that the work you put into a 5-minute walk is really going to have a 10-minute payoff or a 10x payoff, then you might not do it. We as humans, we tend to need a lot of results to do a little a thing, and that's okay. It's not about doing as much as possible. It's about doing as little as it takes to make a huge difference, right? So that's what I've learned over the years, is we don't need to push someone or myself. I could do so little to get so much results. So that's number 2, right? Number 1 is we're not all destined, genetically programmed to be overweight. Matter of fact, it's quite the opposite. Only 4% of us have like a genetic disposition that gives us a congenital disease. But for the 96% of us, we're pretty much programmed for greatness. We're made from greatness. We are greatness. So is everyone, the 100%. Yet we are programmed, our bodies are programmed to work quite efficiently and process our calories, be able to move quite wonderfully, even in our 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. We've seen it over and over again. And maybe you haven't seen it because your subconscious is programmed with people that are sick and tired and filling up our hospitals. And then you're starting to reprogram that belief that we're genetically dispositioned to be overweight. You are not genetically dispositioned to be overweight. You are genetically programmed to be beautiful, made in God's image. Number 2 is thinking that it's hard. It is so much harder to be overweight and not exercise than to exercise and be at a healthy body weight. It feels absolutely amazing. Even being 10 pounds overweight is a stress on the body that starts to affect the mind. It's like carrying a 10-pound weight all day. I don't think anyone would want to do that, yet most people in the United States are carrying way more than a 40-pound weight every day with them. Yet if I give you a 40-pound weight and you weigh 40 pounds extra, it's most likely going to be very uncomfortable. If you have optimal healthy weight and you strength train regular, that 40 pounds, you could lift overhead. And it's not going to be taxing and stressful and cause pain to your body or your mind, having this belief that, ooh, I don't want to do that extra work. You're going to jump towards it because you know that work has a huge payoff if you do it properly, consistently, and progressively. You're not starting. Again, you might not even start. I have a client right now, he hasn't exercised. Well, he's done a little, 2 different sets of squats and a 1 mile walk. Let's not degrade those 3 sessions. Yeah, I haven't put enormous amounts of pressure on him to exercise because that may get him to run the opposite direction. And I don't mean that as a pun intended, although it's a great pun. He might just stop working and still want to and say, yeah, let's do it. But he's just like, doesn't want to do the workout every time. You fear it because your body has been taken in like the wrong fuel for so long. Your body is not really going to exercise efficiently. So I'm not pushing that. The recovery time is going to be too long also when you're not eating properly. So let even a month go by or 2 months, because he's dropping weight and he's changing his habits and lifestyle, which is like long-term weight loss, right? We don't have to hold on that extra weight. Already losing 10 pounds, as I said, how uncomfortable would that be to hold on? And he's done it pretty much effortlessly, saying, coming up to number 3, this is delicious. Nutritious food is delicious. You've been conned, you've been dubbed, you've been scammed eating fractionally fragmented food-like substances that are just a piece of the original. We don't even recognize where food comes from. This is a loquat tree. I usually put some food in the background here. There's other food in the background. You don't have to grow your own food, yet to include more fruits and vegetables in your life, you will start to have an inclination, a proclivity. You will have a desire to grow your own food or find local food because it's very easy to find and it tastes so much different than the food that's in a grocery store. A grocery store for all of your food, to me, is nuts. Wow. That was Woody Woodpecker. It's nuts because some of the food in there, well, the majority of the 84, it's way more than 84,000 products. It's like 100,000, hundreds of thousands of products in a grocery store, right? You could look up the exact number. You could look up the number of additives in our food. It is nuts, and we get really used to it. If you just stop eating just additives of artificials, you'll notice it. That was the first thing I did. You'll notice it different. Talk about a broken system. How are we going to really have discipline when you're putting in, like, if you look at some of the studies at just one ingredient that we put in food, right? Like antifreeze, propylene glycol. We put antifreeze in food. Right? A lot of our ingredients are banned throughout the world. A lot of our ingredients, like sodium lauryl sulfate, that doesn't even go in our mouth that much. It is in some ingredients for sure that you eat somehow, but it's usually on our head for like shampoo, on our skin. What we put on our skin, it goes through, right? We start to absorb it. We spray all these perfumes and stuff on us. I'm not saying that you have to like go strict and get rid of all of these. It's just that just one of them may be causing your body to go in an absolute panic. And it's not about stripping your life from everything that you love. It's actually the opposite of that. It's giving you that self-love that you've always been yearning for, because the temple of God is within. The kingdom of heaven is within you, my friend. And I hope that this message releases it just a bit. I have more for you. Check out some free books that I have for you before they are off the free. Well, I'll probably always keep some book for you free on ogfit.com. Check it out. Send me a message. Let me see if you need some more help. Throw some comments down. What did you get out of this video? What are your next steps, right? And don't just say, I'm going to drink water in the morning and I'm going to walk every morning. That is great. But how are you going to shift internally? How are you going to shift internally? Because what is external to you is here because of your internal beliefs, emotions, and thoughts. Hence why I have a loquat tree. I think about loquat trees. I get emotional about them. I believe that they'll help me, so I plant them. I plant mulberry, right? I plant a forest. I believe that this information has helped me so much. I get so emotional about it and think about it so much that I make videos because I realize that it's so easy to solve your problem. My father had your same problem. If you're watching this long, you most likely have high blood pressure, or maybe you have gout like he did, or maybe you have high blood sugar. Maybe you have high triglycerides, which is known as fat in the blood. Oh my Lord. Maybe you have high amount of adipose tissue making a pregnant belly for yourself as a male. Maybe you have no libido as a male or female. Maybe you're just tired. Maybe you only have 10 pounds to lose, but you're like exhausted and you know the direction you're headed in. You have been parenting and you're awfully exhausted. I get you. This is the biggest challenge I've ever done in my life, is single parenting yet. The one thing I do know is how to take care of this simple thing called the body. It's so easy to be able to walk a few miles a day, but that's probably not where you want to start. Hopefully it is, but you may have so many toxins in your body or on your body. Like, again, talking about what's in like our shampoo and our soaps, right? Sodium lauryl sulfate. This is banned to be able to put, you're not, the Environmental Protection Agency in the United States actually says to not put it in any type of water. Yet we're smudging it all over ourselves because it's very harmful for any aquatic life that is sensitive to these chemicals. And I really, especially in the past few years, have pushed myself to really free myself of any type of phobias, any type of fear, any type of irrational or self-limiting thoughts, such as, oh my gosh, there's chemicals everywhere, we're dying, it's so dangerous here. This world is perfect and beautiful. We cannot have the good without the bad. The polarity of light and dark makes light light. So all these polarities must happen. There's no healthy without unhealthy. There's no ease without dis-ease. That's part of the beautiful duality of the life that we chose to live as consciousness experiencing consciousness. Not to get too deep into that yet, we have polarities. There's not just one side of a coin. There's always two sides of a coin. And no matter what struggle you're going through right now, there's the other side of that coin. In fact, if you've been going through struggle, I suggest to you to look at it like, wow, I have the other side of the coin to appreciate. I wouldn't appreciate my health as much as I do if I didn't go through sickness of throwing up almost every week in high school, of not being able to run around the block. I remember that day panting and huffing and puffing, of watching my dad have a heart attack when I was 9 years old on the way to an amusement center, of seeing everyone like idolize, bow down to food because it's harder to switch what you eat than an entire belief system of a religion. People, we tend to believe in food like it's our savior. Like, I remember when I first made a decision to change what I eat, going vegetarian, and my girlfriend, her father, she said, or her mother, she said, oh, how could you live? You have nothing to live for now. All you have to live for is food, then that's real sad. And you still get to eat no matter what. And to me, the foods that are having us feel amazing, optimal fruits and vegetables, healthy, delicious foods. They taste so amazing, so good, and so refreshing. And it's really a matter of minutes of enjoying the food. It's much more of the belief systems, the emotions, the thoughts that you're having on a regular basis that are getting you to eat, not eat, or exercise or not exercise. To eat, right? Mainly, right? Maybe hamburgers, hot dogs. Maybe you're like, no way, I eat better than that. Maybe it's just steak, cheese, eggs. Some of these foods can be really good. It depends on where you get them from. It depends on the amount. I take all of this for granted, how simple it is. Yet, when I work with people on a regular basis and spend, like my student right now, spend like an hour just going over how to prepare just one simple food, get all the ingredients, one simple breakfast. To me, it's like, yeah, it's just, yeah, just take some oats and have some hemp seed in there, and equal parts, or just use, and then I add a little bit, and I realize that I got a decent amount to say. And when he's like, well, what do I do now? What do I do now? It has me really understand. And then he says, like, the result, like, I am using the bathroom, he used a different word, like a king. And just that experience in the bathroom, for that to be painful, unpleasant, and not a joyous, like, release, is a sad thing. Again, our birthright, we're destined for health. We're destined for freedom and joy. Rejoice, rejoice. We have this body that is so magnificent. It's better than any invention. Computers, robots can't, like, just hold our balance. We're upright, able to run. We're performance machines. We love to exercise, yet when we feed ourselves food, and not just food as in this, but what goes in your eyes, what goes in your ears, right? What are you constantly smelling all the time, right? Live in a city, or you're constantly around, like, fast food establishments, that smells a certain way, right? It smells good, you want to eat it. Yet some other things smell good, like flowers, but don't exactly eat all the flowers. Some people, like myself, we're weirdos, I know. We like to smell like gasoline. I try not to smell it too much because I know it's not good for my brain, but I enjoy that smell. But just, if we're gonna just constantly go after pleasures, then we're just hedonism. I teach my son what that word is. Like, and he said, and I make sure I said, you remember what hedonism means? He's like, yes, it's just constantly doing what you want. No, that's not really. It's just chasing after pleasure. And we're big into that. We think pain and pleasure are the only two reasons why we do anything, right? No. Don't confuse pleasure with happiness. Happiness and joy is bubbling up in us. We're feeling so good, feeling absolutely amazing, loving life. The key to happiness is within. When we don't depend on things externally, remember, go within or go without. If you don't go within, if you here's something I've been, like, doing recently for the past few decades, right? Perfecting my meditation. And I've gotten to the point in the past year or so where I prime myself, meaning say an affirmation or a sentence or two or 5 or 10, just a minute or two of saying something positive. I am that I am. I and the Father are one. The kingdom of God is within me. The kingdom of heaven is within me. Be still and know that I am God. Something to prime myself, to get myself in that good mood of greatness, to receive from God information. And sometimes we don't give ourselves any time to do that. So me taking 30 minutes, and I put a little timer on, sometimes it's more challenging than other days, Sometimes it goes by quick. Sometimes I'm like, okay, let me work on my breathing drills. And honestly, counting breaths, and I do that just about every time. Yet the stillness of not even counting, of letting thoughts go, releasing them, they come in, let them go, getting information, being calm, being still, completely different. Start to receive a lot more information, and you are able, or I am able, most people that I hear do this are more able to sit, not need to constantly pick up a phone, not need to constantly have the entertainment on. Oh my Lord, hopefully you don't watch the news and listen to it all the time. Negative entertainment widely spread. That's what the news is. It's so much of a story, of a position, of a negative, and man, that starts to fill up our head, and then we're getting into like living through just survival in fear, eat, just consume, and then we start to really enjoy those fragmented foods, sugar, salt, oil. These companies have studied how, like sugar, salt, oil, great book, how those have affected your brain and how they affect your brain. And that's why they spend millions and millions of dollars marketing and researching and developing specific products, and we call them food, products that stimulate your brain in a certain way, that make you really addicted, that numb you, right? That seem to solve all your problems for that one moment, just like a drug. So to me, giving all of these steps is the broken system. I love to hear it, like get more information about health. Yet if you are that lost, then you need a therapist. And most therapy, sorry to say, most therapy sucks. Why? Because they just let you talk and talk and talk, and very rarely do people establish benefits from that. They need a little direction. I consider what I do health therapy, a health therapist, to sit, listen, talk, find out what works, what doesn't work, not pressuring, not drill sergeant, loving you through it. As one of my students has mentioned, if you go to OG Fit, on her testimonial, she's like, I thought I was gonna get yelled at. He loved me through it. Of course, how else are we gonna do this? This is a relationship, a love and gratitude relationship of how to get you to the healthiest point possible. And it's not something that's gonna happen in 1 or 2 weeks or 1 or 2 sessions, if that's what you're looking for. Sure, you will definitely improve tons in the first session, yet you must be willing. And it's not like you're gonna drop 10 pounds in one session. It's about changing your beliefs, your identity, the emotions that you're feeling that are maybe crippling you, that are blocking you from experiencing joy. So go to ogfit.com right now, check it out, click the link or comment below, because some people need that mentorship. And by golly, I do this literally because if my father had a mentor for health, oh my Lord, it's not just about that he would still be here. I think some people misunderstand that. It's about that he would be here jumping around, moving, happy. And he was a very happy man. He did outstanding work. I don't want that ever to be miscommunicated. I love my dad. I hope to live up to his character in so many ways. With health, he was definitely not on point. And it's because I know, I didn't talk with him about this, but I know that y'all think you're genetically designed to be overweight, that it's hard to get healthy, and that nutritious food doesn't taste good. And all three of those are absolutely keeping you from the kingdom of God within, from being able to express yourself physically, not be in pain all the time, not be miserable all the time. And yeah, as Tony said, the problem with humans is that they think that will have no problem. So yeah, you're gonna maybe get upset. Yeah, you're gonna have some pain. Yeah, I'm not gonna stop that. You're gonna have some cravings. Yet, my Lord, with a few simple little tweaks in what you're doing, just changing breakfast like we did for my man, changing breakfast, how you break your fast every day, and oh my Lord, what a snowball effect that has had. It's like so much easier for him in life. And we're moving on to so much greater things. Again, he hasn't even started exercising yet. No doubt, no one. I'm just kidding. Like you do, it's a broken system thinking that, like, I've worked in the system for so long, going to a trainer to train 3 times a week for 30 minutes. And oh my Lord, what most of us do, we're like just beating you guys up because we want to get it all done. We want to get a lifetime of work done in just a short amount of time. And I'm sure you do too. That's why I actually prefer Zoom mentorship, phone call mentorship, distance mentorship. Cool, like person to person, but then you start to think that you need to see each other every time. And like you start to buy time, which is so icky. Like, okay, I'm going to do 30 minutes, 3 sessions a week. No, we must have all the time, every time, anytime you need, especially in the beginning. To like, if you respond to that, meet all the time. If you respond well to meet, well, scheduled, I love schedules, don't get me wrong. Schedule it 3 times a week, 1 time a week, start a little more in the beginning, 5 times a week. And then we could do a little less once you start really adapting your behavior, because the beginning is when, like, it's like an alcoholic left with alcohol. You have all the food all around you to eat whatever you want at all times, and it's completely socially accepted. It's not only socially accepted, it's socially encouraged. And then it's also socially accepted and encouraged to just sit down in a chair for hours and hours a day. Oh my Lord, that's literally a risk for diabetes. And these little teeny facts, this information, those are good. Get more of that. Get more of that information, of health information, not fear mongering, but what can I do and inspire? How do you know the difference of fear mongering information and good health information? Is, do you feel better afterwards? Or are you doing things because you're in fear? If you're doing things because you're in fear, like going for a walk, drinking water, and then you're like, oh, I got to filter my water, and you're just in fear constantly, that, my friend, is the broken system. You can see there's a big thing to this broken system here. And I applaud everyone that has the intention of either being healthier or helping someone else be healthier. I am not putting down any trainers at gyms. I'm not putting down any influencers influencing about health. It takes a lot to get out there and say something. It takes a lot. I just see so many broken parts of the system of health, starting with, trying to solve all of our problems by just physically working out and physically eating without taking time to really process our emotions and beliefs in regards to health and nutrition and activity and different dimensions of wellness. Understand that they're all interconnected. You have spiritual wellness, you have mental wellness, you have physical wellness. Those are 3 main big ones, but we also have emotional wellness, environmental wellness, right? Social wellness. It's huge. Occupational wellness and monetary wellness. And even if you take the least of them, some people wouldn't say the least, it depends where you are, right? And what state of mind you're in. But the least might be, I think they're all really equal, actually, as I say this. But if I wanted to be well or lacking wellness in one of them, it would probably be monetary. Even though that could make life so horrible, it's also so interesting how they all unite with each other, right? They're interlinking. They're not separate. That's why we call it holistic. That's why I say I am the greatest holistic health teacher, because I know that I am using the greatest principles. They're not really my principles. They're really God's principles. They're universal principles. Like, you could see them in everything. And I'm not going to get too deep in that. That's opening a huge can of worms. It's just, I'm not saying it to put myself on a pedestal. I'm actually saying it to humble myself, that it's all of this is not my creation, the teachings, this simplicity, because I was on the same path as everyone else, standard American diet. I was eating refined foods, huge amounts of meat, cheese, all factory farmed, getting very little to zero exercise, like 70% of the US, just zero movement, zero activity, zero exercise, feeling sick all the time. And I was supposed to be in the peak of my years of life, teenager, and no one's going to look at me and say, that guy's sick, but I wouldn't say I was sick at that time, yet my Lord, did I feel sick. I've talked with people with diabetes. They say they're not sick, because it's very relative. It's like sick, I think, for us is in a hospital bed, like about to die, or like you're in your room and you're sick calling out from work. Yet if we're not thriving and optimally able to like run a mile in under 10 minutes, pain-free, walk a mile in under 20 minutes, pain-free, I'm going to be modest here, like really modest, 20 push-ups, male or female, 10, come on, man, 5 pull-ups, 40 squats. Like, these are measurements, basic measurements. We used to measure them in school, and I've done them thousands of times. We used to do it taking blood pressure while riding a bicycle to make sure that your blood pressure could handle the ride and your heart rate. And I was just shocked I'm still shocked with the lack of basic level of health and fitness that we have in our world. And it's not just that, my people, it's how easy it is. It's minutes, not hours a day. Minutes a day. I do recommend like an hour at least of activity, of moving, yet it's not hours. And I'm not talking about exercise. I'm talking about just like moving. Like, those are simple things. But again, the order, if your body is filled with toxins and moving feels like you're moving a freight train and you have joint issues, we gotta work on some other things. It might not just be hydration. It might be eating your water with like fruits. It might be eliminating the one diet that I do actually like is the elimination diet, is figuring out what we need to eliminate slowly, and I work with people. I'm like, you think we could maybe remove cheese from your diet for like 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months? Like, if you're willing, then you may uncover a misdiagnosis of just completely allergic to something. A friend of mine, he got a diagnosis recently. You get bit by this certain tick and it makes you allergic to eating mammals like red meat, like cows and pigs, and it's amazing. He realized that. I laughed because like these are the first things I would have put him through or put anyone through working with me, and we'd figure it out. We don't need these fancy blood tests. I'll work with blood tests if you're willing. Awesome. Yet you don't need none of that. You just eliminate certain foods that are on the list. I didn't make up the list. I didn't make up the principles. I didn't make up the rules. I didn't make up how our body functions biologically. It's so simple and easy. That's why you don't see many animals cripple and sick unless they are domesticated. And again, I'm not saying that you need to go strict and live out in the woods and grow loquats. Just make a simple decision if you would like to get healthy or work with someone. If you're vibrating with me and you've been on here for 39 minutes and you're like, this guy makes some sense, man, I'm ready, go to ogfit.com. Matter of fact, Should I drop my phone number right here? Do people drop phone numbers? I don't know if I feel comfortable doing that. You got all my information on ogfit.com. If somehow you're like, it's down, or I got too much on there, then go and email me, loveorganicfitness@gmail.com. All spelled love, then organic, then fitness. Loveorganicfitness@gmail.com. Make the move, make it happen. Write down today is the day that I change and transform and make a difference in this world, because you know what? All I really want, and this is you talking to yourself, all I really want is health, wealth, and happiness. And if I had to choose between health or wealth, I would choose health, because without health, I will spend all of my wealth attaining a little drop of health. And once I have my health, I could be happy and free. I love you. You're amazing. Keep it beautiful.